So it will, just, carefully understand. So, but the RS parameters. So these are the parameters the statistician want to be included in this RS dataset. Okay. So confirmed response by the investigator, last disease assessment by investigator, overall response by the investigator, and death related and disease progression. These are the parameters, 5 parameters they want to be derived and include in the RS dataset. Okay. Here these are the RS dataset variables, and here you will sorry, in this parameter you will see, right? So this parameter we have derived all these parameters. Sorry. Okay, one by one parameters we'll see how to derive and how to create this data. Okay, so SDTM and ADaM also will take ADaM data set. And so what are the variables we want to be included? So these are the variables. So just we have this. Now the first thing is we have to start with the uh, derivation of the one by one parameters. Okay. So before that one, so we need to merge with the RS data set with the ADSL data, because here you will see some variables are coming from RS, some variables are we need to take from the ADSL. So what I do, so I just merge the both the data set data ADSL underscore RS. So we are merging SDTM dot RS data set and ADaM dot ADSL.
Is it good practice, Shiva, on directly merging from the SDTM and the ADaM?
Hmm? Yeah, so there is no issue. Okay, you can do no, because we are not changing any data. Okay, so we directly using the data set also fine, because so we are not editing or changing any data from the HDTM or ADAM. So we just using and we created a temporary data set. Okay. So in case sometimes if it is not proper starting order as per your so analysis or your data set, you just create one temporary data set and start use the data set. Otherwise you can also use, because both the data sets are started by the subject only. So if you want you can use directly also, not a problem. And so once we get this one, so we are going to start the parameters one by one. So the first parameter we are going to use OVR, that is overall response by the investigator. Okay. So here, just carefully read one by one. This is a parcat 1, parcat 2, parcat 3. So for this parameter, the eval values they want to give, one for CR, two for PR, three SD, like that. And how to derive the eval C for this parameter. So set to the response assessment result standard format RS-STRAC for the overall response parameter. The RS tested equal to this parameter and the investigator is this one. Okay, that is AVALC derivation. And in case of ADT derivation for this parameter, they want to take the RSTTC and the condition and filter from the RS is RS tested equal to this one and RS evaluator equal to investigator. And this data is a partial, so we have to impute as per the rule. And this condition, the same thing is RS test CD equal to this one, and in evaluator is investigator. Okay. And in case of anal flag, how to derive this one? So set to the null, eval C not in PD. Okay. So why only one observation per subject? If there are multiple observation per subject and date, okay. So we have to take the first dot, worst analysis. Okay, we'll see this one. And in case of source domain, RS source variable is something RSSTRAC, and the source sequence we have to give the RS sequence, and this one is the population include all observation from the RS. Okay, so we'll start deriving this parameter as per the rule. Yeah, sorry. Start the programming of this parameter. So as per the rule, so we need to be filter the RS test CD equal to. So even AVALC and IDT derivation, we want to filter RS td equal to this one and RS eval equal to investigator. Okay. So we can data. So this is the first parameter. So first parameter related. So I just given underscore RS1 like that. Set which data set? ADSL underscore RS. Okay. And if the RS test CD equal to and the RS evaluator equal to investigator. So this, just check with any subjects having this information. So we have 4 subjects having this RS test CD equal to this parameter and RS evaluator equal to investigator. Okay. Now, and you will check how many types of subject. One, and this is the 2 subject, and this is 3 subject having this info. Fine. So next, this data set, the param CD, what we are going to give, OVR, and the parameter equal to what? Overall investigator, and next eval C. What is the eval C variable they want to map for this one? Here, you will see. Set to the response assessment result standard format. That variable is called RSSTRESC. So you can give strip any spaces are present for this variable, we can remove. And next, the sequence number SRSUQ. So SRSUQ, so they want to give the RS sequence. Okay. And next we are going to derive the ADT variable. So how the ADT they want to be derived? So set to the date of response assessment, you have to take the variable RSTTC for the overall response same. This is the criteria. So after filtering this condition, the RSDTC variable you need to pick, and in case the RSDTC missing day, only the day is missing, then imputed the last date of the month. In case when the evaluation is CRPR. Otherwise, missing day is imputed what? 01, and missing month and year will not impute. Only the day is missing, that to CRPR there, we have to give the last date. In any other responses, we have to give the imputation 01. Okay. So at the present, so we will check the date ADT or date RSTTC. Yeah, RSTTC, it complete date, even though in future we may get the partial date. So that is why we have to write a dynamic code. So first we need to check the length of that particular RSTTC. So for example, how the length, if it is a complete date, we will get the length equal to 10. For example, if it is a partial date like this, if it is only this partial date, how much length it is? It is a 7. We are also checking for which one having the day is missing. So year is there, month is there, but day is missing, this type of observation. In future, if we may get this type of observation, the XX equal to 7, okay, then do. We have to populate the, just I created a new variable, that is just convert them into the numeric, and this RS DTC. Just I am concatenated with the 0 and convert them into the numeric version. So why I am giving here format new date. So and so here new is missing because the length is everything is 10, means complete date only. There is no partial date. But in future, if we may get this one, just I am adding the 01 and make this into the complete date and create it here. Okay. So now we are applying actual condition. The missing day is imputed as the last date of the month we can use, and so these CRPR cases. Okay. So we can write here if the avalc in CRRPR, then the ADT should be, so I am giving intnx function to get the last date of the month. Okay, so month, the variable num, comma, one minus one. So we already discussed in the AE, right? So here the same thing. So if it is a CRPR, so we are incrementing the 1 month, and after that one we are giving the -1 day. It will give you the previous date of the that particular month, right? For example, here 2022 February there. So we are adding the 01. So what happened? 2022 February 1st, and we are incrementing the 1 month, means 2022 March 1st. -1 nothing but 2022 February last week. Based upon the year, automatically it is a leap year 29. If it is a normal year, if we get the 28 of that particular month. Okay. Um, Anywhere we apply the format. Argument to function has next month. No, what is this? This I wanted to. Okay. So this new variable has at the moment is missing, right? So that is why it getting like this. So in future, if we get in a chance that new variable having that info, we'll get this one. So what I do, so for checking purpose, let me hard code any date. RSTTC, here it is. Yeah. So what I do, so I'll make this date into one partial date for our checking purpose. Okay. So that our code is working or not, we'll check. If RSDTC equal to this one, then RSDTC equal to, yeah, partial date. Okay. So we will work on this one. So RSDTC and the length we are getting 10. No, it should not be 10, right? It should be 7 only. RSTTC, RSTTC. So if we don't have any data, try like this, and after that one you remove that condition. Okay. So the length is 7, but the avalc is PD. Okay. So at the moment we are writing if it is a CRPR, we will take the last month. Otherwise, what they are stating that else missing day is imputed as 01. Okay. So we can write if avalc is not in CRPR. Okay. So ADT, how we are going to do? So we have to add the 01. So input of the RS DTC. Okay. We just add the 01. Enter. Okay. So now let's check 1, 2, and 1. 1, 2. Okay. Hmm. Input of for the invalid argument 550 to 39 line. Input of RSTTC, we are concatenating with the 0 and convert them into this one. Yeah, so it is in a character version, RSTTC. Fine. So we are, let me write in a strip of this one, RSTTC, and we are concatenating with the 0, 1, right? So after that one, to make the YYMMDD, it is not in this one, and XX equal to 7. Everything perfect only, right? Yeah, now you can see it was populated. So in case here also we do the same thing, strip unit. So there is some spaces, that is why it is getting like that. Yeah, here. So that is a partial rate as per the rule. If it is, not CRPR, it is a PD. So we have to impute by using the 1. If it is in case of CRPR, we have to get the last date of the particular month as per the rule. Okay. So missing day is imputed last day of the month in case CRPR. If it is a missing 0, 1. Month and year is missing. So we are not imputing as per the spec. Okay. Yeah, so now the ADT was derived for only it is a CRPR and other. So otherwise, if it is a complete date, so directly they want to convert them into the numeric version. Okay, so simply you can write if XX equal to 10, then do the ADT. Simply we can input of the RSDTC 10 dot. Yeah. So the remaining observation, the ADT was populated, and if it is a partial date, we have to apply the logic. Okay. If you want, you can remove this one now, because we are hard coded to check whether our conditions are working or not. In future, we may get this type of data automatically, it will handle. Yeah. So now I removed that condition, and we just populated only the ADT as per the rule. There is no imputation values. Okay. So now the ADT was populated. So ADT done and eval C done and eval. So eval they want to give like this. So simply if the eval C is CR, then they want to give eval equal to 1, else if eval C equal to PR, then eval equal to 2, else if the eval C equal to, if it is HD3, and next it is a non-CR or non-PD. They want to give the 4, and if it is NE5, and it is PD6. Else set to null. Okay, so no need to give null directly automatically. If anything not you know that assigned, simply it will get into 6. Okay, so as per the eval say, so we will give the eval number. In this, there one more condition they have mentioned here in case of ADT anal flag. So if there are a multiple observation per subject and date, okay, set the Y for the observation worst analysis. This is the sorting, reverse sorting, CRPR. In case worst not unique, select the observation highest. Okay. So here we, if the subject having the same date, for example here one subject has 3rd December, two dates are there. So in that cases there is a two different responses are there. So in that cases we need to pick the uh, first dot ADT value for this one, because in this data set one record per subject only they are expecting per date. Okay. So if the multiple dates are there, so they want to pick the first record and first response of this one. Okay. So for this purpose, just sort the data set RS1 and out equal to underscore 1 RS2 by subject and date. And here they given the order like reverse order. So PD, NE, NR. CR is a 1, PR is a 2, like that, right? We have given. So they want to give the reverse order. So that is why I just given the descending of aval. And so if the date is same, response is same, we have to pick the highest sequence number. Okay. So that is why I am giving descending the sequence number as well. Okay. So data underscore 1 RS3 set underscore 1 RS2 by this if first dot the ADT, then we have to give the anal flag to that record. Okay, if multiple records are there cases, the anal flag, which record we want to pick for the analysis. So the first dot, if the multiple records are there for one subject, that two same dates are there. In that cases, we have to pick the after sorting this one, we have to pick the first record and we will give the anal flag to this one. Here we don't have any type of that record, so that is why you'll get anal flag to all the record. If the date also same, only the particular first date based upon the response, we will get the anal flag. Okay, yeah. So we can keep this data set aside because the parameter related all the eval we assigned, eval C, ADT, anal flag, and this we can source domain source variable will apply later also, no issue. Okay, this is only just assigned, right? So there is no derivation. The first parameter was done, and the second parameter is death. Okay, so the death related parameter I am going to derive. Yeah. So before deriving this one, just read the derivation what they mentioned for avalc. So set to the y when the avalc equal to y and avalc equal to n1. So how to derive the avalc? If the death date is not missing or partial, they want to give avalc equal to y for this parameter. Else n for all other subjects in the ADSL. For example, death has 5 subjects and total 20 subjects. The remaining 15 subjects they want to give the n, which subjects having the death, that subject they want to give the y. Okay. So and here the death date they want to be converted into the numeric. No imputation partial dates are performed if in case partial date. Okay. So null flag equal to y to all the records and this one everything set to the null. Okay. Yeah. So death date is important variable for the death related parameter derivation. So that is why data underscore to underscore So RS data set. Second parameter, set the data set ADSL underscore RS data set. Okay. So what the main variable is? The DTH DT variable, the death date variable not equal to missing records we just filter. Okay. So let me see any subject having the death information. Yeah, there are four subjects. Let me check. The four are only one subject. Okay. So one subject having the death information, and that subject has four records in the RS data set. Okay. And now in this, we don't want to take all the records, only one record is enough. And so that is why I just sort node key by new subject, because so even the death date is this subject having only date. Okay, so you can also check the death date. Yeah, here, yeah, death date you can see 5th September only. That subject have four records in the RS data set. Yeah, so now we have only one record, and this subject we are going to assign all the remaining parameters. Data underscore RS2 set underscore 2 RS1. So the parameter CD is the depth, and parameter equal to depth, and the eval for all these observations we have to give Y, and the annual flag as per the spec we have to give the Y to this all these records, and the ADT we can give the death date. Okay, this is a, I think this is a numeric version variable. Yeah, we can directly give this numeric version variable, death date. And as per the one, so the remaining all the ADSL variable, they want to give no. Okay. So here else no for remaining all the subjects which are coming from the ADSL. Only one subject having this yes, the remaining subject they want to give the no. So that is why I just merge this data set with the ADSL. ADSL by user JD. Okay. If A or B. Okay. So we want to consider both the subjects. So if in case the subject is A only, means the subject having the death information, then eval C equal to Y. Okay. So here also you can mention, otherwise here also you can mention. And the annual flag also you can give Y, and eval equal to 1 to this type of record, which subject having the death, and ADT you can mention death date, and so the format of ADT, so date 9 as per the ADaM standards. Okay. So in case the subject is present in the ADSL, not present in the ADSL, because only one subject having death, remaining subjects are there, right? So if the subject is present in the B and not in A, then do in situation. So you just copy this and paste it here. So aval C equal to N, and the anal flag, you can keep it as missing, and aval equal to 0 for those type of subject, and date also you can keep it as missing, and just run. You will see. Okay, so the param and parameter we have to map. We will see param and parameter we have to map all. So aval C, you can see only Y to this subject and remaining all subject in. So aval also save 0 for all the subject, 1 for only which subject having the date, and that subject date we have to populate. So the remaining subject they want to give N. So that is why we march back to the ADSL, and which subject having the date we can give Y. The remaining subjects are N. Okay. So second parameter, all the variables also done. Anything they mentioned, everything they want to set null only. So that is why I'm not including. So anyway, if you are giving null also fine. Once you final data set, if you are not giving anything, automatically it is assigned as null only. Okay. So the next parameter. So this is progression by the PD. Okay. So this parameter also we'll see today. So later remaining two parameters we'll see next class. Okay. So this is progression by the investigator. The parameter name is PD. So for this purpose, what they are asking, set to the Y for 1 and N. Okay, how to derive the avalanche? Using observation from the ADRS, where the param CD is OVR. We already created the first parameter OVR, right? So that parameter data set they want to take, and anal flag equal to Y, and ADT is a validate on or after the first treatment date, and the observation from the ADSL where progression date is not missing. So set to the Y if there is an observation with the PD, otherwise N for all other subjects. Okay. So same thing like this. So we have to first sort the data set and filter the condition. So which data set they want to use? They want to use a OVR data set. So first parameter RS3 data set I am using here. So out equal to so underscore 3 underscore RS1. So as per the condition, the anal flag should be 0, 1. And ADT not equal to missing, and that particular ADT greater than or equal to the treatment start date. That is what they mentioned, right? So here you can see the valid date and on or after treatment start date. Okay. So treatment start date. And one more condition also they mentioned here. So the PRO GT should not be missing. And the avalc equal to, so set to the way an observation, avalc equal to PD. Okay. So this type of observations, we just pick. by use of JID and ADT and AVALC. So there are one observation there. Yeah. So this subject having this parameter is applicable. So after that one, just start the data set. Even it is a one subject also, you need to start because we don't know. In future, we may get the multiple subjects, right? So RS2. So multiple record with the same date, we will pick the first record. And after that one, we merge with the data set with the ADSL. So to will give the remaining subjects. Okay, just copy this code and paste it here. If ARP, the param CD equal to PD, and parameter equal to this one. Yeah. If the subject is coming from this A data set, so we will give aval C equal to yes and aval also 1 and ANL01 equal to y and ADT they want to give what for this one? So they want to give the progressive date. PROGT, the date they want to give. Format of this ADT. So it should be date 9 and N. In case the subject present in the data set, not in the ADSL, means the subject present in the ADSL and not present in this data set, we want to give the no. Okay. So aval C equal to N and aval 0, anal flag missing, ADT also missing. Okay. So this is the third parameter also we created underscore 3 RS3. Yeah. So here, so param CD and parameter aval C for N for all the record, only which subject having this progression disease. So that variable only having this info. Okay. Yeah. So three parameters we derived and keep aside. Once all parameters derivation was done, we set all the parameter related data set together. And any variables are still needed or any variables are we missed, so we can handle in that case. Okay. So parcat 1, parcat 2, parcat 3, we can add to the at the last. Okay. Any parameters are missing this is simply assigned, right? So we will handle at last. Okay. So this is for ADRS class today. So this bit complex, even though because why I'm teaching, this will give you more weightage to your resume RS dataset because everybody is not putting the RS dataset into their resume because due to the complexity. But if you are putting and explaining this parameter in a better way to the interviewer, and this one oncology study anywhere you will see the RS most complicated therapeutic area is oncology, and in that complicated data set is RS. So because every efficacy parameter they will derive based upon this RS only because the response given by the tumor was is a major thing whether our drug is working or not, right? So that is why. So just go through this code and try to understand. Okay. Yeah. Anybody having any doubt, you can unmute and ask me one by one.
Sir, what question interviewer can ask on this RS domain?
Yeah, so so first question is, did you work on the RS? If you said yes, can you please tell me what are the derived parameters you already derived in your data set? Try to remember 2 to 3 parameters derivation. And in the derivation, so the first parameter is overall response. What is this overall response? Okay, how you derive the eval CR, ADT, or how any imputation was done in case of partial date. So what is the annual flag and so what is CRPR, etc. Also they will ask. Okay, what is complete response, what is partial response, etc. Okay, and so most of the times they will ask you the logics, whether imputation logics, and if one subject getting the death, the remaining subject how you are assign the no. Okay, so why you are merging with the ADSL, because which one subject getting the death, the remaining subject you want to map it as an, so you need to merge back to the ADSL, right? So try to remember the parameter and try to remember this eval C, ADT, annual flag derivations. Okay, eval based upon the eval C only. So numeric version. So these three parameters are the major. Okay, variables. So if you completely write the code and try understanding after that one, any question from any kernel you can easily answer. Okay. So don't read any questions. Try to practice the programming. Automatically, you will answer if you know the perfect programming. So even if you don't know that question, simply I cannot experience that thing in my ADRS as per my study. Also, you can tell, because some studies they have in a different type of parameter that may not derived in our project. So that time you can tell, okay, so I didn't experience this parameter derivation. Like that also you can answer. Okay.
So in the line 52 and 53, you have written as in, right? Can we write equal or not equal also?
Yeah, you
Or
can,
when we
so
have to use that in?
no. Not equal means only one type of you can see. Okay. But we are checking CRPR both, right? So eval C equal to. So if it is equal to means only one type only you can write, right? So if you want to include eval-C in CRPR, okay, more than one type of observation you want to be checked. So in only in operator will we use. Only the condition is eval-C equal to CR. Okay, that time only we can use a equal, right?
Okay. When we have only one value, then we can write equal or not equal, right?
Equal, not
But we have
equal. More than one.
answer in the 99 line. Actually, when we have to use this date format, like when we have to write format of the date, or when we need not, like
Because
somewhere like you,
no,
I think in the
whenever we see some ADT and any date variable in ADaM, so it should be date 9. If I miss anywhere, so try to write the date 9 format. Okay, so whenever you see the final data set
everywhere
in
we
your
can.
ADaM, yeah, you can write, the date variable is there. That should be in a date line format. If it is a derived, okay, if it is coming from the SDTM, we are not touching the date format. If it is a variable derived in the ADAM level, so that variable should be in a date line format. Okay, so in case of SDTM, either it is YYMMDD10 dot or ISO format. Okay,
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you.
yeah.
So
So
it is
any,
mandatory, sir, to remember like
yeah,
at ADAM level, if it is derived only, it should be of date 9
date
format.
9. Yes, because
No need
ADT
to apply for
variable.
SDTM.
No need to apply because RSDTC variable coming from the SDTM, but we are not touching that variable. Okay, so we just use that variable and creating our analysis variable. This variable as per the SDTM standard, that should be ISO format, but in case of ADAM, it should be date 9. Okay.
Okay, whatever we are getting from there, we are converting into our analysis data.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you.
Sir, here we have not seen any kind of partial date for the death, right? Like, do you see
Yes.
any, in your experience, any time the death date would be partial? In that case, how do
Yeah.
we handle that?
Here they clearly mentioned. Okay, 1 minute. Not here. Yeah. So no imputation partial date missing date is performed. So they don't want to give any partial date. If it is ADT and the date is partial from the SDTM, we can keep it as missing only. Okay.
Okay, that subjects will not be part of analysis, right? Until
Not like
we
that,
get some
Yeah,
confirmation.
So if the death date is not missing or partial, okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
even we are not considering the partial dates here. Okay, only the complete dates only we are considering for the considering whether the subject has died or not. Okay.
But anytime did in the SAP in any of your studies, did you see like imputations were applied for the death dates?
No, no, no. Because so we are not giving the partial dates are applied per death. Why? Because there is some ethical committees also there. They want to see the death related subject info. If we are providing the partial date to that committee, so they won't give any approval to your study. So that is why if the death was happening 99.9%, the subject should have a valid date with a valid reason, and the doctors the forms also should be mandatory. Okay, because
Okay.
death is a major and most adverse event, right? So that is why the death we cannot take it as light. Yeah, tell me.
And moreover, it happened in the study means we must record it, sir, in the
Yes,
beginning.
exactly. Yeah, so
Actually,
even
in my
the
current study, what has happened, we have received like two subjects. There is a partial death rate. Like
okay, so
we
that
went to
time
the staff.
we will inform to the site, clinical site, and we will get a complete date. And so 99% we will get a complete date. Otherwise the statistician decision is a final, okay, on that
Okay.
cases.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's still the discussion is ongoing. We are not sure, but the site what we have now is like they don't have the complete date.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that
and
time,
the task
we will give a
also.
proper and valid reasons for why the date is missing. Okay. So yeah, that based upon the stats, they will file some memo on that, and then they will explain to the sponsor and ethical committees. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Sir, is it that critical? Like, if the like, suppose if the study is failed,
Mm.
actually, what Stats has mentioned, we need to have. We'll try to get it some different sources. We'll try. If not,
Mm.
he'll mention it as a note, like that he mentioned.
Yeah.
But depending on the criticality of the study, also these few things will be more impacted, right? Because I understand that it will be used for many like at many places for the analysis.
Yes, yes.
So,
That because for example, the cause of death also important in the situation. Okay, if something like not related to the treatment, sometimes the imputation is working out, but it is cause of death related to your treatment. So that time the impact of the death, the date is more influencing your study. Okay, so even the regulatory also they will ask this question once you submitted the study. So that is why, yeah, all the possible chances looking by the statistician, and they will approach, they will get in back to you. So what is the appropriate way to handling that type of dates? Okay. So no worry, as a statistical programmer, we are not involving any partial dates or imputation or data missing or data error and any issues also. We are just identify, but we are not correcting that one. We are not any data debuggers. We just what the data they provided, we represent as a outputs, tables, listings, and data. And based upon our reports, they will do some analysis. Okay. So no worry, what they suggestion they will do. Okay, they have a proper file they note, and they will submit. Okay,
okay, sir. Thank you.
yeah. So go to this RS programming. Yeah,
Sir,
tell me. Yeah, tell me one by one.
sir, hello.
Yeah, tell me. I can hear.
I think you are on mute. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys, I
Hello,
will meet you
sir.
to. Yeah, tell me. Sorry, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, my network is poor. Sorry, I missed it. Sir, what is the main, role of this analysis flag here? What is
So
that?
here,
An
anal
ANLG.
flag, for example, if a subject have two or three records or more than one record, so which record we need to use for the table purpose? Okay, so we can't use all the records for the table purpose if we having the same subject and same visit and same date is there, but the response is different. Two types of response. Which response record you need to consider for the table level? So that time this anal flag will use. So directly we can filter anal flag equal to y in the table level and we can pick the particular record. Okay, that is the main use. Analysis purpose, which record you are using. So anal flag was created. Okay. So
Okay.
otherwise you will
And
get in a
so, and it will
duplicate.
be in, and it will
Yeah.
be in only findings domain only analysis
Yeah,
or
most of
no.
the times. Yeah, even the AE also there and some other data set also you will see the null flag. If it is a required, the stars will people added in the spec and we add that variable. Okay. So most of the
So,
time finding domain having because it is collected in a visit wise information, right? So multiple visits or same visit multiple times the record was collected. So which record you need to take into the table, so they created a null flag. Even the adverse event also sometimes we do which record you can take for the analysis purpose. So valid record they will give the null flag. Sometimes unscheduled visit they won't give any null flag. That means we are not considering that records for the tables. Okay.
so based on the structure of data set wise, the definition is
Exactly.
going to be
Yes.
changed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And sir, here the response of the subject, here we are able to know with this RS or ADRS.
Yes.
And
Which
then,
response give? Yeah.
the subject's response, or throughout the, treatment period or something,
Yeah. Yes.
trial. And is there any link to the questionnaire between this RS and
No, no, no. Questionnaire
question?
is a separate data set. This is the response. Questionnaire is nothing but they will ask some question to the subject or patient. Based upon the response given, they will give. For example, some neurologist studies, if they are asking, did you are able to walk by yourself? Okay, mild, moderate, severe, or so like that answers are there in the CR. So based upon the answers provided to the subject, they will give average value, and based upon the average value, they will check whether it was the drug is working on that one or not. This is the oncology. So RS is a tumor response. They will clearly measure that one, the tumor size after treatment, and they will give the proper response, CR, PR, or etc. Okay. Yes, questionnaire data set also there in the oncology, but in the that they will ask the oral questions and the response given by the patient. So they will monitor. Okay.
So where do we collect the data set,
So
that
if the
questionnaire data from
CR,
all the data
yeah,
sets?
no, no, no. There is separate dedicated CRA page and CRA pages are there. That information captured in the QS questionnaire data. Okay.
And sir, here eval C we are taking like Y and N, and
Hmm.
depending on the requirement, sometimes I have seen in the tipping point it is like missing values. So
Yeah.
why do we take like, because eval is a numeric value and eval C is like a character version of that we have seen till now. But here we are
Yeah.
taking as Y and N or missing like.
So here, so if it is Y and N, so they given, but death is there. Okay, if the subject having the death, so obviously the eval C, the character version of the eval is yes or no response also concerned, right? So that is why if it is a death, so eval C equal to Y. In case already they want to give some particular variable is assigned, so the eval C they will map to the particular variable. Okay, based upon the parameter only. So Y and N also eval C values only, yes or no. Based upon the parameter, we will define this eval C and eval. You can go through this specification and see here. Okay, so how they define. So we assign. Not always eval and eval C getting from the information from the SDTM. So we have to assign some values based upon the parameter derivation also sometimes. Okay.
Okay, mostly in efficacy, we need to
Yeah.
know the
Yes.
parameters. And sir, last question, like, so what are the main parameters we need to concentrate
Yeah,
here in
yeah.
this?
First one, so what are the first parameter? Overall response. This is the overall response by the investigator. This is the main parameter. But try to remember all. Only 5 parameters are there. Right? Try to remember this one because you need to speak at least 2 to 3 minutes about RS if they are asking. Okay, so that
Yes.
is why I just focusing on all these important parameters only. These are. So if you are try to speak this one, that much enough. Okay.
Okay. Like real time or interview purpose, which are to be
Yeah,
concentrated
this is
on.
both, even real time also you will see this type of parameters and this type of derivations only. But in the interview panel, if you are speaking more on the AVALC and ADT derivation, they will more impress, okay? Because nobody talking about RS, right? If you are talking and if you are explaining in a better way, that will give a major impact. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Sir,
Sir, I have one final question also.
Yeah, tell me.
When here, are we using the, like, if the study has both locally and the central assessments, are we going to consider the central assessment, or is it as per the protocol? Like, if sometimes we might have this bug, PDs should be confirmed, right? So those kind of things will be there.
So that time, as per the protocol, generally we go and if the data was collected in central and local both, so that we can discuss stats. Okay, no worries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll only confirm us which to be considered for these
Yes.
analysis.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yes.
sir, we are creating the new parameters here. So param type
Mm.
or D type we need to create.
No, no, no. Here they are not mentioning anything like if it is any D type or anything. So they are not adding that variable. If they are adding D type, derived you can add. But here the stats people don't want that variable, so you can ignore. If it is they are mentioning any D type, so which simply add D type equal to derive. In that 1.1 version also, param type variable was we are not using. Only D type variable we are using. So that too, whenever we are adding some new variable within the parameter, then only we are using the D type. So otherwise, if new parameter will come, so we can keep it as it is only. So param type variable we are not using from 1.1 version. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll meet you tomorrow, guys, and we finish up this RS remaining parameter. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Started our ADRS and 3 parameters we have derived, right? So hope you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So today we are going to finish up this fourth and fifth parameters and remaining variables. Okay. And the fourth parameter is last disease assessment by the investigator. Okay, LSTA. Just read the AVALC. Set the last AVALC on or after the first treatment date. That should be ADT greater than or equal to treatment start date and param CD OVR. Avalcine, CR, PR, HD, non-CR, non-PD, any anal flag equal to Y if there is such an observation. Else, set to the null for all the other subjects in the ADSL. Okay. So here also OVR and this anal flag you just taken. Okay. So in the third parameter, you just take the similar way, copy and paste it here. And here you just mention the fourth. Okay. So say manal flag equal to Y and ADT not equal to missing, ADT greater than treatment start date and aval C in. And aval C in what they mentioned CRPR and everything they mentioned. Okay, Aval seen CR, PR, HD, non-CRPR or PD. Okay. So there are 4 observations. So in this 4 observation, they want to pick the latest observation. So simply you just copy this one. And this latest observation they want to take. So last dot. Okay. And after getting this one, you just merge with the ADSL and so you apply the remaining. So that is what they mentioned. If here, else null for all other subjects. Here also you mentioned null for other subjects in the ADSL. Okay. So here this one is a 4 underscore RS2 and RS3. And here the param CD of this one is LSTA. And the parameter is okay. If the subject is coming from this data set, then the avals equal to y and anal flag equal to y and so ADT already. So ADT, what is ADT? They know we are that ADT. And here, so you can also check ADT. Set to the ADRS ADT only. Okay, that ADT already we are taking from this data set, right? So that ADT only. And B not then anal flag equal to no, and this one you can keep it as a missing. Avar equal to 0, ADT equal to 0. Okay, let me check anal flag. Okay, set to the Y only. So remaining all we can keep it as a missing. Yeah. The fourth parameter also. There are 3 subjects having this info. So yes or no. Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, 3 subject having this particular parameter met the criteria. So next, the last parameter, 5th parameter, confirmed response by the investigator. Okay, CRSP. So just read. Using the observation from the ADRS, param CD equal to OVR, anal flag and ADT validate and honor after and avals in PD. Okay, so just copy this one and it is 5. Okay, so anal flag equal to Y and edit not equal to missing, edit greater than and avals all this and so that is what they mentioned, right? So avals in this one and are after first treatment date and including the first observation indicating the progression, the avals in PD. Okay, so and avals equal to PD related observation they want to keep. So there are only 3 subjects having the PD. Yeah. So also having the PD. And we will check the first subject. And you merge with the main dataset, means the ADSL dataset. So once we get this one, you merge with this dataset. Okay, and update this one LSTA, CRSP. And the parameter is confirmed response by the investigator. And subject is coming from the A dataset. The eval equal to y, anal flag equal to y, and eval equal to 1. Same, if the subject is coming from the B dataset, not in this one, same thing, eval equal to n, anal flag missing and everything missing. Okay. Now we are going to set all the data set together in the final. So underscore 1 underscore RS3 underscore 2 underscore RS3 underscore 3 underscore RS3 underscore 4 underscore RS3 fifth parameter underscore 5 underscore RS3. Okay. So and we just include the keyword. Yeah. So in the final data set, you will see each and every subject, the parameters you can see. And so there might be some truncation. So we can do this one. And eval see. So one by one we'll see. So we are having the parameter truncation. To avoid the parameter truncation, what we do? So we just assign the length here itself, the param CD and param 200. Yeah, here you will see complete, so without any truncation. And what are the other variables we need to include? So parcat 1, parcat 2, parcat 3. So we are going to write here. So parcat 1. So what is the parcat 1 here? So simply I mentioned tumor response and parcat 2, parcat 3. So parcat 2 is investigator, parcat 3 is the resist 1.1. So when it is So tumor response, investigator and RESIST 1.1, but the one parameter, the death parameter having a reference event. Okay. So what I do, if the param CD equal to death, then do the parcat one is different. So parcat one equal to reference event, and parcat 2 and 3 are missing. Okay. So the remaining all parameters, so investigator and RESIST 1.1. Okay. Yeah. So and the source domain, source variable, source sequence. So source domain, source var and source sequence. Yeah, here this parameter is null, everything this is also null. So two parameters null, and this third parameter, fourth parameter, then only this parameter having this value. So if OVR, so source domain for this one is RS, and source var equal to this one, and source sequence equal to the RS sequence. Yeah. So the TRTP, ADY and A sequence. So TRTP nothing but the general treatment. TRTP equal to the planned treatment TRT01P. So next ADY and A sequence. So ADY nothing but same how we are deriving the study derivation, same thing. You can check with other program. So how the study derivation done in the LB or other data set ADY, same you just copy and paste it here. So because every BDS type of data structure same. So ADT there, so ADT minus treatment started, it will give the ADY. And finally the sequence, A sequence variable we need to be derived. Like so each and every subject record we are going to give what so numbering. Okay. So A sequence, yeah, sort by variable assuming assign the successfully starting from the one. Okay. So simply you just sort the data set, parcat one, parameter category one, and the param CD that should be in a date wise. And we are going to assign data final to set final. then A sequence equal to 1, else A sequence plus 1. Okay. Yeah, final two data set. Now we included all the variables, 38 variables in a sequence wise. Here you will see, yeah, so parameter, param CD, and here parcat1, parcat2, parcat3, what is aval and aval C, the ADT and ADY, and DRTP, null flag, source domain, source variant, source sequence. Okay, so like that, how many parameters which they are used for their analysis purpose, they included all the parameters in the ADRS. So we have to derive one by one and include in the data set so that it is easy for the TLF programs. So simply they will filter the parameter and based upon the aval or aval C, so they will do the tables. Okay, tables are listings. So ADRS. So we done our ADSL and ADDOCCDS and ADRS and ADLB is the BDS type of data structure. So the next, ADEFF and ADTTE data sets are there. Those are also efficacy data sets. So, but ADRS is much more complex, and this information only we are going to use for the ADTT and AD efficacy, EFF. That is ADF nothing but, so any specific parameters they want to be included, like best overall response, they included in the AD efficacy data set. Sometimes they mentioned that parameter also in the ADRS, but so here they created separate data set. Okay, yeah, and let me open this chart once.
Sir, I have general doubt. Like when you write equal to symbol or when you write EQ, I've seen few instances it is equal to, or some places you just mention EQ.
Yeah, so sometimes direct equal to symbol, it will give some error. Okay, so that time so I think you can try here. Sometimes it is working, sometimes it is not working. Okay, but if it is working, both are fine. Okay, so you can write equal to or EQ also, both are same.
But you go by the log, right? Sir? Like when you
Yeah,
get that error, then you change.
just check in the log. Sometimes that is not compatible error, like a warning or error you will get. So that time you just remove some SQL procedures. This equal to symbol will not work. That time you need to mention EQ only. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, does it depends on any numeric or a character version of
No,
numbers?
not like that. Not like that. Even so this is the character. If you want to mention, this is the character, and if you want to mention the numeric. But the symbol, I think SQL procedures sometimes this equal to symbol which will give you a problem. So that is why I just practice EQ. So it is working, then fine in the procedure. Sometimes in some procedures the equal to symbol will give a problem. That time you replace that symbol with the EQ. Okay, just go through the log every time. Whenever you run one step, just clear the log, then go to the next step. That is a good practice, so that you are not going to get an error. Sometimes what happen, every programmer running the program and getting the error and working that error. No, initial where the error start, where the warning start, that step onwards we need to debug. Okay. Yeah, so let me check once only. Yeah, ADTTE and ADRS we done, right? ADRS we done, and yeah, ADTTE and ADEFF both data sets are there. Once we completed these two data sets, we'll move on the SDTM part. Yeah, okay. Yeah, any other doubt?
Sir, in this ADRS itself, when we saw, like, you have not gone by the sequence, right? Like you have, like we do have different kind of parameter and parameter code,
Yeah.
but you have just selected the last, I mean, like,
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
sure like how we have to go.
Sequence, here you will see the parameter category wise param CD. Okay, so just within the parameter category, so parameters in a alphabetical order wise, I just sorted because they haven't given any numbering. Okay, so this is the first and this is the second, not like that. Okay,
No,
so
sir,
that is
actually not for the programming, I'm telling. In the spec, what we have, like initially the
yeah.
last three you done first, right? Like,
So
so is there
here
any
the logic, if you can see the first parameter what they mentioned param cd equal to ovr. Okay, so that is why I just derive this ovr parameter first. Okay, otherwise we can't derive this parameter, right? So here you will
got
see
it?
param cd ovr, and here also param cd equal to some ovr. So that is why I just derive this parameter first. Then that parameter related data set I have used for this other parameters. Okay, that is why I go this first and that latter.
Okay, okay, got it, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to start any other data set today. So we'll start, ADEFF or ADTT in tomorrow's class. And because these are the complex efficacy data set, just taking time to understand, just to go through that, and if any other sources are available in the Google or any other source, just read those also, document, get some knowledge on there also. Because so if once you put in your resume ADRS data set, definitely the interview people look on that particular point and they will ask you more questions on that ADRS and efficacy related stuff. Just to watch these recording videos once or twice and try to understand the concept. No need to by heart the coding, just and remember the parameter names and the derivations as much as you can. Okay, because what they expected. So if you are continuously working on 1 or 2 years on particular ADRS, you just remember some parameter. That is what they expecting, and some logics also they are expecting, like how you are doing the parameter derivation and etc. Okay. Yeah, go through this one, and we'll meet you tomorrow to discuss one more data set. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.
So here these are the parameter. One is the duration of response by the investigator. Next one is the survival. Okay. So how much time to reach the particular event? So we are calculating, and that time we are included in the variable called eval. Okay. So first we need to calculate the start date and ADT, and we are calculating these two dates and create the eval variable. Okay. So we'll see one by one. Yeah. So let me start. Yeah. So what are the variables we need to be included? So these are the variables. Yeah, these are the variables we are going to include. And the first thing is some variables are coming from the ADRS, some variables are coming from the so ADSL, some variables are coming from the RS dataset. Okay. So just I am taking the ADSL variables and RS variables together and created Oxford Tycore as underscore dot ADRS ADRS by use of JD and next also with
Hello. Hi, sir.
yeah
Your voice is breaking. Is it same for other?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
Suresh,
breaking.
even
Sorry?
Your voice is breaking, Shiva.
Sure, sir, we can't hear you properly. Maybe the internet connection issue.
yeah is it fine now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so ADSL after this one just merge these two data set together. You can directly also merge, otherwise you can filter and merge, no issue. ADSL. So just gather the ADSL information and we already created the ADRS, right? That information you just take into one data set. Okay. So after that one, so just read the parameters carefully. What they are asking. Duration of response by investigator. The ADT what they mentioned set to the PD date. So we have see the responses in the ADRS like CR, PR, PD, SD, PD like that, right? So here they want to set PD, the particular PD eval, the date. If it is a PD and eval CY, set to the death date. So death and it is a LSTA, last tumor assessment date, LSTA. Otherwise this one, okay? So each parameter ADT they want to be add here, and in case of start date they want to take the CRSP related information to filter the start date. Okay, so I am going to create, so here the first start date I am going to map. So CRSP eval CY anal flag equal to Y, the particular condition related ADT they want to map to the start date. Okay, here itself I am mapping if, so just we need a start date, right? So param CD eval C anal flag equal to Y. Then we just do the start date equal to ADT they want to map. Okay. In case RS underscore SL, the start date we just created. Let me check with the param CD. Param CD. Yeah, param CD CRSP itself, we don't have any ADT. So, we don't have that date, but we need, right? So for, just I just map to another variable. After that one we'll remove, because without date we don't know whether we are getting the right information or not, right? So that is why just I am creating this ADT equal to RFIDT. Just in case once all the derivation was completed, then I'll remove this condition, because without date, whenever we are doing some derivation of the parameter, we don't know we are getting it right or wrong, right? So that is why I just give one available date. So once it get, so we'll remove that one. Still ADT equal to this one, and y param CD equal to CRSP and null flag equal to y, and avals equals also y. Okay. So avals equal to here, no is there. Okay, keep it as it is. Without the date also, we can do the derivation instead of changing, because so the date was not there in the CRSP dataset, because no subject get that CRSP information. So that is why the date was missing there. First, we have assigned. Next, we have to create the variable one by one. So first parameter is duration of the response by the investigator. Okay. So data duration of the response related. So we need a 4 data sets are required here. If you see this one event description, so disease progression, death, last tumor assessment, confirmed response +1. Even here also you can see the PD, death date, LSTA, and this one. So for that purpose, what I do, I am going to create the 4 type of data sets. One is ADRS underscore. The first one is a PD related data set. Okay. So next one is underscore ADRS underscore. Next one is a death related data set. And next one ADRS underscore LSTA data set. And last one underscore ADRS underscore CRSP. Okay. So this 4 data set I am creating at a time. Just set the data set RS underscore SL dataset. Now I am writing the condition if eval C in. So every parameter they mention anal flag equal to y and eval C equal to the particular ADRS PD and eval C equal to y, like that, right? So I am writing if anal flag equal to, then do if param CD equal to, so first one PD, then we move that information into the data set ADRS underscore PD. Okay. So for example, once we move this information to the PD, okay, so what I do here, so I am just renaming the variables. So what is the ADT there in the data set? I just give in the renaming of ADT underscore PD. And what is the date and sequence number is there in this data set? I just give the a sequence underscore PD. Okay. One open and one closing bracket. Yeah. So in a similar way, so if the param CD equal to death, so I send the information into the data set death. Similarly, I renaming the variables in the data set. The ADT I am renaming as ADT underscore death, and sequence variable I renaming as death. Okay. So in case of LSTA, you can send this into the same, and you just renaming. So why we are renaming? After that one, we are going to merge all the data set together. So that time it should not be any overlapping of these variables. Okay. So LSTA and a sequence LSTA. Okay. So last one is CRSP. Just create the 4 data set and here you write it. And The 4 datasets created. So each data test, for example, if you want to check here, death related, all the parameters. So we separate it out. Now, so now I am merging all this data set together. So merging with the ADSL n equal to A. So next CRSP n equal to so instead of B, A, B, C, D like that also you can give. Otherwise, for understanding, just I am giving n equal to CRSP. Okay. So next one LSTA. So n equal to LSTA also you can give. So whenever you are calling that time, if A, B like that also you can call, you can give like this also. Don't confuse. ADRS death n equal to death PD. Okay, so n equal to PD. Just merging all the data sets by subject and run. So whenever you are merging all the data set, the variables we already renamed, right? So those are not got any overlapping. Okay, so ADRS TOR you can see. Okay, A sequence death, ADT death, A sequence LSTA. So we created individual parameter wise dates, right? So it is not overlapping. Now we are going to write the derivations for this one. Okay, so the first one is the param CD. Param CD equal to duration of response and the start date. Parameter is DOR and the start date. Okay, start date equal to, so which date they want to map here. So the data set which is coming from the CRSP and avals equal to y, annual flag equal to y, that variation. So ADT they want to map. So ADT underscore. So the ADT coming from the CRSP, this is the ADT, right? So ADT CRSP, you just map, and the source domain is, here you can see source domain, source where is, source domain is ADRS, and source where equal to ADT. And next sensor, yeah, here the sensor information set to the 0 if PDR death occur. Okay, so PDR death occur. So the subjects are coming from the PD data set. Okay, if PD or the subjects are coming from the death data set. Okay, then they want to give the sensor equal to 0 who are not experienced the progressive disease or death, then the sensor equal to 1 here. Okay, and next we will see the derivation of the ADT. Okay, so they mentioned if it is a PD date, then we need to take the ADT param CD equal to the aval C equal to this one. Okay, so if PD, then do, so the subjects are coming from this PD data sets. Okay, so what we do, so the ADT they want to keep as a ADT underscore PD, and the next which one, no, event description, the event description is for this PD. So the first line it's showing the PD. Here also the first line showing if there is an observation in the ADRS, param CD equal to P, null flag equal to Y. So we have to give the event description is disease progression. Okay. So disease progression. Next, the sequence of this particular parameter SRSUQ. Here you can see the SRSUQ variable. So you need to give the PD if you experience a disease progression, they want to give the particular sequence number. So the sequence number, the A sequence, so we given the PD, right? So PD. That is why we just renamed every variable here, the sequence variable PD and the date variable, the particular parameter date. Okay. And next, just N. So once the PD was done, the next parameter here itself, so death related. Okay. So first line was done. Second line you will see else set to the death. Yeah. So if same thing, just copy here and paste it here. Else if the subject coming from the data set death. Okay. So the this one is death, and the event description they want to give the death, and the sequence also a sequence underscore death. Okay. So after that one, the next one is first one is PD, next one is a death, third one is a LSTA. Okay. So LSTA, just copy, paste it here. If it is coming from the information LSTA, so LSTA event description, nothing but last tumor assessment and sequence number LSTA. Okay. So if these three parameters was not met, then else now you will see PD, death, LSTA. Otherwise, what we do, start date plus 1 day. Okay. So ADT they want to start date plus 1. And the event description is confirmed response plus 1. And the sequence is just giving missing and N. Okay. So just format of this start date and the ADT should be in a date line format. Okay. So once we derive, so we need to derive the eval as well. So how to derive the eval variable for this parameter? Here you will see they want to in a weeks ADT minus start date plus 1 divided by this one. This is a formula for to derive the eval. So if ADT not equal to missing and the start date not equal to missing, then eval equal to ADT minus start date, this one plus this, okay. And if eval not equal to missing, then so wherever the eval units are there, okay. So eval units is a month. We are calculating in the form. So what we get is the days divided by 30. It will give you the months. Okay, they want to create the eval information in the months. So let me run and check. Yeah. So ADRS underscore DOR. So we have, so here, there is the eval. Here you can see the eval. So eval, it is showing 0 or 1. So what I do, so it is, I think, coming from the data set. So here ADRS, just drop the eval. So it is already there one eval. So that is why this eval, it is showing like that. ADT there and the start date. Yeah, here you will see the start date is missing, the ADT is present. So that is why the eval was not calculated. So that is why I'm just giving the start date, some dummy date here. So to check whether it is populated or not. Because the data is not sufficient. So that is why I just give the start date as any, yeah, TRT, HDT. Okay, we can give. So one more dummy condition I am giving. Not here, here I am. Still the start date was not populated. Okay, so let me, yeah, here I am giving. Yeah, because so there is no date, so that is why I am giving to calculate this eval. Yeah, here now you see if the start date is available and ADT is available, so then the eval was calculated in the form of months. But unfortunately, so the data was not there because the subjects, only few subjects here, the data if you see here, hardly 4 to 5 subject data there. So that is why, so there is no data of start data or the particular parameter reaching the subjects, having the subjects were not sufficient. So in future if you may get, so automatically the eval was calculated in the form of months. Okay, yeah, so I just remove this one. So we are writing the condition. In future, the data will come automatically. It will handle as per the parameter derivations. Okay. So this is the first parameter DOR. Next parameter is Death related means overall survival.
So,
Yeah.
introduction. So you have actually changed that place, right, where you have given that condition. Start date is supposed to. What difference it actually makes?
Yeah,
Uh,
here, for example, start date is present, then automatically the eval was, calculated. So every parameter, the date is missing. Okay, that is why
no, no,
I
no,
just
no.
give
I
a,
mean to
yeah,
say the treatment start date equal to
mm,
start date you gave, right? So that you
yeah,
actually you changed the places. Actually,
yeah.
so
Here, for example, if we are giving here, so what happened after applying this condition, again the start date ADT is calculated. So there is no eval C equal to Y observation. That is why again it is showing as a missing. Okay. So that is why I just change the place here before here itself. Okay. So that is why we are getting the values. Even we are giving before also, again here you will see the start date. Okay. So where is the start date? Yeah. So again here the start date plus one, and so after applying this condition, there is no subjects. Okay, because the AVALC values are all subjects who are having the CRSP. No, so that is why again it is back to the missing only. So that is why I just given the condition before calculating this ADT. So we will get. Okay.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. So, just checking purpose, you can give like that. So once you assume that, so okay, eval was derived properly, then you can remove the dummy condition because we are working on the data which is available. Okay. So here the data was not available. In future, we may get the data. No issues because only 5 subjects are there. In future, the subject count is increased. This particular parameter experienced candidates also increase. So we'll get the proper data. So next overall survival. So here you will see how to calculate the ADT for the overall survival. Related to the death date, there is an observation in the ADRS, parameter death, eval CY, annual flag equal to Y. Okay. So the data ADTTE underscore death or OS, overall survival, and merging with the ADSL and the death related data set. Death related data set, we created this one ADRS underscore death. So we can take this death related data set. So I just giving the n equal to so B. Okay. So by use of JID, the subject is present in the ADSL and death. Okay. So for example, here the start date is, what is the start date in case of here? So they want to take the treatment start date. Okay. For this parameter. And next the param CD OS, and the if the subject is coming from the data set B means the death, then do the event description for, so what is the event description? Death and avals equal to a, so this is a death, and the sensor variable who are having the death, yeah, it is a 0 for death occur, otherwise 1. So 0. And ADT, so we can give ADT underscore death variable, and source domain and source variable. ADRS and ADT. and source sequence. So death variable. So this was n else to do. If the subject is present in the OD, only the ADSL, not in the death data set. So that time the event description is alive. So if it is death, otherwise alive, right? So this subjects, that means who are present in the ADSL, not present in the death data set, the event description is alive. The sensor equal to 1. And how the ADT we calculated for this one? You can carefully read here. So if it is a death, we are applying the death condition, else set to the last known to be alive date. If this date is post time event origin date, okay. So the LSTA, if the LSTA alive date greater than the start date, okay, it should be no greater than missing, because it should not be missing, right? Then do. So the ADT we can take the last alive date and here the source variable. Here you will see the source variable. If it is ADT in case of LSTA, so we need to give the LSTA. Okay, if known alive date and the post time this one, so you need to give the source var equal to as per the derivation, the state they want to map and the here this was this variable you can read here. So if sensor record last contact ADT is sent to the this one. Okay, so we have to give the last contact and end. So then else do the ADT equal to here. So if it is the last known, then this one. Otherwise, you have to give the start date and the source where here. So otherwise, you have to give the treatment date, start date. And this one, you can give the treatment start. You need to carefully observe one by one condition. Okay, so whenever you're writing condition, the all the variables mentioned in the specification file, you just check. And now we format same thing here. How we are calculating the eval for that parameter. Here also we do the same thing. Okay, so start data and everything. Do end. Yeah, here OS parameter, overall survival. So you will get the eval. Okay. So here the start date we are given treatment start date and ADTTE. So that is why eval was calculated. So now we set these two parameters together.
Sir,
So data. Yeah.
this last allowed date where we get from the SDTM.
Yeah. It is derived in the ADaM ADSL. Okay.
Okay. From which variable or which data sets we need?
So directly so the last allowed date only you will get from the ADSL. In the ADSL, so they will check all the data sets, all the SDTM data set, which is the last date of the subject. For example, they will check DM, AECM, all the data set they will check. So which one is the last date? After this date, so there is no date for that subject is available. Okay. So for the clinical trial, that particular subject, what is the last date? Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So set the ADRS underscore DOR and ADRS underscore ADTTE underscore OS. These two parameters we just run and just keeping the percent keep where and we'll check. Still any variables are missing or pending. So we can yeah. So all variable EFF flag that is efficacy concept that was not coming from any ADSL we can remove. No issue. In the final data set, you can see the pair cat1 parameter. Okay. Yes, so the parameters and pair cat1, pair cat2, pair cat3 are coming from the ADRS. So what I do here itself, I am removing this pair cat1, pair cat2, pair cat3 information. Okay. And so parameter information also I just remove. Now we are adding here. So parquet 1, parquet 2, parquet 3. Here the given time to event, investigator, and etc. Right? So parquet 2 and parquet 3. So parquet 1 is the time to event. Parquet 2 is the investigator. Parquet 3 is the resist 1.1 in case of DOR parameter. And the parameter duration of the response by the investigator. Okay. In case of OS, overall surveillances. So here time to event and these two are blank. And the parameter is overall survival. Now you will see. So parameter CD, parquet1, parquet2, parquet3, and eval variable and eval units were populated only in case of eval. Start date, ADT, ADY, sensor, event description, and this one, and source domain, source var, and source sequence. Okay. So once we done, creation of this ADTTE time to event. So next, send this into the permanent library. This is a final, and this is a TTE, and time to event. So as of now, we have completed ADSL, ADAE, and sorry. Yeah, so our completed ADSL, ADRS, ADTT, ADLB, and ADRS. So AD efficacy data, FF data set is pending. That we'll see in a Monday class. Okay. So likewise, TT also complex data set, not so easy. So but try to understand the time to event. So this is a main and important data set after ADRS, because once we done the ADRS data set, we have to calculate the time also, how much time it reaches to the particular event was happened, right? So that is why time also important. So based upon this time, whether the drug is working efficiently or not, they will calculate. They will, do the analysis. Okay. Anybody having any doubt on this, you can unmute and ask me now one by one.
Sir, questions on this ADTT, what
So
we
first,
can expect?
yeah. So first they will ask you what is ADTT. Then next question is any parameters you have derived in the ADTT. So they will ask. So where do you find the time duration? Which variable containing the duration is the important variable here is aval. Okay. So aval is the variable that containing the time duration, and they will ask you how you are calculating your time, whether it is in a month or days or like that. So our study we calculating in the form of months. Then how you derive that month? Start date, the date minus start date plus 1 divided by 30.4375. Why we are giving 30.4735? Because some months have 30, some months have 31, some months have 28. So on an average, so this is a value to calculate the exact days in a month. Okay. So then they will ask you, so how the death information you are taking from. Okay. So where to find? So and so what are the variables you see in the TTE parameters? So here you will see ADT start date sensor variable and event description, this one source domain and source variable, etc. Okay. So why do we include this source domain, source var, source sequence, to tracking purpose, where the information is coming from? What is the source of the particular parameter you are getting from? Here the source is ADRS, here the source of var is ADTT. Okay. So which source data set you use it to calculate the ADTT? So ADRS we have used. That is why we first created the ADRS and ADTT later. Okay. And so these questions will ask, once you practice the program from any corner, any question ADTT, you can able to answer. Okay. And TTE related table also we have done, right? So just go and check once we practice this ADTT, just go and check the table as well. Then you will get a more clear idea.
So will they ask about sensor 0 and 1?
Yeah.
What is the meaning of 1 and 0?
Yeah, they will ask that also. What is the sensor? Because sensor equal to 0, nothing but who are not happened that particular event, either PD or death. So who are event free, then we will give the sensor equal to 1 to those subject. Here the event is a death or progressive disease. So that is why who are experienced at that one, we will give 0 to that particular subject, and we are giving 1 to not having that event, means censored subject we will give 1. Okay. So please go through this dataset programming. and we'll meet you on
Sir.
Monday. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, other than the spec, do we need to depend any other documents here for such kind
Uh,
of?
if the derivation is not clear, so just check with the SAP. Main
Mhm.
our programmatical perspective, the important document is statistical analysis plan. That is SAP, because all the analysis perspective information they mentioned. If you have some information needed, just check the protocol. But protocol itself showing that how the clinical trial was done, information, most of the things getting in the protocol. But our perspective, SAP analysis purpose, so most of the information in the SAP, if not clear, you check with the statistician. Okay.
Okay. Sir, and here in the line 123 of the code, we have written that not missing
Yeah.
update. So,
Yeah.
when do we require to write this kind of lines?
So this was, you can write, like this. If the start date is not missing and
Oh, yeah.
this was not missing, and you can write this statement up to here also fine. This means
Okay.
nothing but it is greater than missing. That's it. It not
Instead of
nothing but
writing in multiple lines.
yeah. So you can write like this also.
Oh,
Okay.
that means same only writing of n
Mm.
miss of 0 or
Yeah. Yes. You can
okay.
write, n number of ways to handle the missing values. Here,
Oh.
so anyway, this value should not be missing. It should be greater than this one. And this value might be missing. So that is why it's greater than the missing. This is what the logic. Okay.
So here start date, it is applicable to start date or last?
Yes, it is applicable to this only.
Okay.
Once it is applicable to this one, it is not missing. Then it is always, greater than this means this have a value. It should not be missing, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is the logic. Okay.
Thank
Sir, for which domain we will be creating the spec in the upcoming class?
EFF, efficacy related one, best overall response related there. So ADaM spec, EFF. So sometimes, this is the important parameter, efficacy parameter. Sometimes this efficacy parameter they will include in the ADRS in some studies. Some studies they created a separate data set, that is best BOR, best confirmed overall response. Okay, this parameter will include in the EFF parameter, EFF data set. This we are going to do in next class. Okay.
I was asking this specification creation for
Mhm.
which domain we will be doing. We are going to create.
I'm not getting the exact question. This specification, this is.
We are supposed to create one specification to understand how the spec is created. So
Mm.
I was asking on which domain we will be doing that.
So this is ADRS is our domain because ADRS we created, and this is not coming from the data from the SDTM. This is coming from directly the RS domain ADRS, and we use the ADRS for this domain. Okay. So RS only.
No, no, sir. Generally, I am asking. So in interview, they also ask have you created the spec, but we don't know how to create the spec and how to write the
Yes.
spec.
So in that cases, just tell me, because up to 6 place, 7 place, there we won't get a chance to work on the specification file. So you can tell. So our statistician work is to create the spec and SAP and mock. So as a programmer, we use that one. So spec creation is somewhat difficult. We need to understand how many mock shells are there. That mock shell, how many variables are required, how many parameters are required. So that information we included, and we can check with the SAP and we will write the specification. So no worry, you can tell even most of the programmers are not working on the specification writing because that is the job role for the statistician in most of the companies. But don't think that, so you will get a chance once you get an experience like about 10 place. So if you are a study lead, then they get a chance to work on the specification. That time you need to check carefully how many mark shells are there, how many variables are required. You check with the ADaM implementation guide and write the specification files. Okay.
So for 2 year or junior level experience,
No
because
need.
I have appeared many interviews, but they This was mandatory question. Have you worked on a spec creation?
Yeah, so yes, they were asking, but don't tell that even 2+, no company will give you the spec writing for the 2+ candidates. Okay.
Okay, and trial domains?
Even trial domains, okay, sometimes you may get chance to work on the trial domain irrespective of experience. Okay.
Okay, and we are also going to in this class we will be
Yeah,
going
next,
to do the
yeah, so next classes, upcoming classes as per the time, table of content. The next plan is those only, right? Here you will see the trial domains.